Thank you much. I was talking to Jeff Crone earlier about our 7 minutes, and he mentioned he wanted to do 7 minutes of comedy about doing comedy. And I said, well, I'm doing 7 minutes of religion. So, we'll see who I alienate tonight. Well, it's because the rules bother me. You know, like one of the rules that you're not supposed to masturbate. See, I don't know. I choke my dick like I'm trying to get information from it. Really, I do. It's like interrogation for me, you know. One time I went too far, I started waterboarding it. That wasn't good. But yeah, you know, the rules bother me. One of them is if you see a woman and lust after her, you have already committed a sin. You might as well go ahead and fuck her then. If I'm going to hell, I'm hitting that. I ain't going to hell for thinking about it. You believe that? Some bullshit right there. I mean, if you really think about it, though, if you really think about it, the one thing that does make sense is the Adam and Eve thing. If you think about it, Adam and Eve, the only two people that everybody came from. Now, if that's true, that means that everything after that was made from an incestuous relationship.
There you go.
Which is why we can only use 10% of our brain, because we all the retarded grandkids of Adam and Eve. Now does it make sense? And you know the way some religious people act bothers me. Like my wife is more religious than I am, and she prays about everything. It's like, you know, some things you just can't pray about. You just got to use common sense. You know. Like, my brakes went out one night. I was going to a wedding, I came back, the brakes went out. My wife was in the car with me. The brakes went out. Now, we prayed all the way home. Oh Lord, please let it get home. Oh, Lord. Shouldn't have had those last 2 drinks. We got to get home. Ain't nothing worse than being drunk and your brakes go out. You know? But God got our dumb asses home. And the next morning, my wife said, I'm going to go cash my check. Me and the kids were gonna hop in the car. I said, baby, the brakes went out. With me and the kids, we prayed. I said, that's how a lot of religious people die. You just gonna pray in some bad brakes and go somewhere? You end up in the crash, talking to God, you know, God, we prayed. You knew the damn brakes was bad when you got in the car. Go to hell. That's all you're getting back from that. I want to end it. I want to tell my favorite story. This is a true story. I went to visit a church. My wife and I, we went to visit a church. And it was a jackleg church. You know, they had a drive-through collection plate. You understand what I'm saying? We just like, if you don't have time to stop in and really pray, just stop in and drop your money. I was expecting a bucket of chicken to come out the window when I saw it. But I didn't like the church. And the preacher was a jackleg preacher. You know, everything he said about the Bible reminded him of his life 5 years ago. You know, like, he'd say like Mary Magdalene and prostitution. Yeah, like back when I was pimping. Where my hoes and where my bitches? You know, just, you know, he mentioned, you know, Jesus had 12 disciples. I used to be in a gang too. West Side, you know. It was that kind of preacher. They had a band, they did like an hour-and-a-half set. It was a 6-hour long service. 6-hour long service. The collection plate went around 8 times. It was $2 cover charge. It was nice. They smoking section, 2-3 minutes. You know? At the end of the church, though, my wife, they said, you know, we can go down and pray. Now, before we left the house, I just want to point this out. We were running late. Now, this is a black church, and we were running late. It didn't make a difference to me. It didn't make a difference to them. It made a difference to my wife. You know, I said, honey, do your hair. Let's go. She said, no, I'm throwing a wig. I said, no, baby, just do your hair. Let's go. She said, I'm throwing a wig. I don't want to be late. I said, all right, I'm going with you. So we left. Now, we back to the end of the church service, and she wants to go pray with the church. And she went down to pray with the church, and the preacher came up, and he touched a woman on her head, and he prayed with her. He said, no, 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 no. And she fell out.
Aww.
And then he went to a man next to her, and he prayed, and she fell out. And my wife was next, so I turned to the kids, and I said, look, if mommy wig fall off, we leaving. We're not standing around for this shit here. We leaving. And the preacher touched my wife on her hand, and she fell out. And her wig didn't fall off. Shame what you missed for waiting for it. That's not the punchline. That's not the end of the story there. But we left, and we were on our way home, and it was quiet. The whole way home was quiet. Nobody said, my daughter, she stopped it silent. She said, Mommy, Daddy said, if your wig fall off, we leaving you. Now, I thought I had a spiritual upgrade. I thought this was not the same evil-ass woman I left the house with. I thought she fell out. It's just different. Turns out it was the same evil-ass woman I left the house with. Now, I'm not going to tell you what she said, because I'm a Christian. But when the kids get out the car, I said, honey, I thought you was changed. You fell out. The preacher touched you. She said, I didn't fall out. That son of a bitch pushed me down. Thank you guys much. I'm Big Will. Enjoy your night. Follow me on YouTube and Willie Saw Your Eyes.